Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the Final Fantasy Randomizer Fall League Spoilers race.
Spoilers!
One of them for this week. I am Kurant, and I am joined here in the booth by the far more knowledgeable Dark Moon. How are you doing tonight, Dark Moon?
I'm doing well. Thank you for having me. This is going to be a fun time, I do think. I mean, it's going to be fun for us. We don't have to do this flag set, and that's always a good time right here. For those that are not aware, this week of the Fall League is our semifinals. And for semifinals, we decided to do something that we haven't really done in Final Fantasy Randomizer before. This is a spoilers week. For 5 weeks now, the runners have had access to these flags, the specific seed, and the one that we're running tonight. And though I don't think most of them actually bothered practicing it, because most of us didn't expect to get in to this week of the Fall League, because only 4 teams made it in, those that did discovered some really interesting things about the particular seeds that we pulled. So, it's going to be floor and entrance shuffle, there's going to be item magic on, there's going to be some other interesting things you're going to see. I haven't heard anything bad about today's Thursday flags, but still could be in for quite a show, all things considered.
Yeah, I admit the whole idea of a spoilers flag or spoilers set of seeds is a little unusual, definitely. Unfortunately didn't have as much time as I would have liked to dive into the flags, but it's going to be interesting, to say the least, with items available and items that might not be in various places, and okie dokie. So it's definitely going to be a fun time, and of course we have some of our best runners who are at this tonight, so I expect that it is going to be slightly insane.
Yeah, it's going to be insane. You are correct in the fact that we have 4 of our best runners here. Like, this entire week, every time someone was like, oh wow, we're going to have some really good runners tonight, I'm like, we're going to have really good runners every night this week. It's semifinals. Top 4 teams are in it. That's the 16 best players, essentially, in all of Final Fantasy Randomizer playing right now. And it's going to be fast. Knowing where to go and what to do and what to expect everywhere. No searching around, no needing to look for anything. You can see they're already doing some moves you might not have even expected. We could be in for a 30-minute seed and then be out.
Yeah. And that was how, whenever Dark Moon was trying to get us to volunteer, that's how you sold it, wasn't it? That, hey, the last race was 40 minutes.
Yep. 30 to 40 minutes. Gonna be good to go.
Yeah.
So yeah, I saw a hurt helmet, I think, and some other item there. Low-level item magic, not terrible, not great. Looks like no one really cares too much about what's at Canaria. They're immediately making dives for other towns.
Yeah. And I was gonna say, I think I was gonna say, are they selling the Lit 3 sword?
They did, because that's a lit 8 dagger sitting at town, which is much better, and apparently they can buy 2 for the price of 1.
Yeah, oh, well, there you go. That's what we call efficiency, folks.
Yeah, give me 1 crap sword, I'll turn it into 2 much better daggers. I'll take that value any day.
Yep. And I think pretty much everybody is doing exactly the same thing.
We got a question about whether or not Ale started 10 seconds behind. I think he had a 10-second negative timer on for some reason. So his timer is actually synced with everyone else. You just have to subtract 10 seconds for some reason. Ale just likes to be different.
Yeah. Well, hey, I mean, Ale can be Ale as much as he likes, and if he wins, then it doesn't matter.
Yeah, because if we resynced him right now, his footage would be 10 seconds ahead of everyone else. We can't have it.
Right.
It's lovely positioning, though, for Provoca, I must note. Right there at Temple of Fiends, easy to get to. You like a town that's right near your town.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
Trade routes are great.
Yeah.
And Ale is taking some man-cats, or some hot cat, and some rat cat. I'm just going to make up names for these weird abbreviations because we have Randomizer on. These are not your standard cats, but they are on a sky floor, so they're going to be worth a decent amount of experience. Already getting his party up to level 7 after killing some pirates.
Yeah, I was about to say, being at level 7 after 1 fight, yeah, I figure that'll work alright.
Yeah, oh, that's great. Absolutely great. Again, the reason why you're going to see things moving fast is the runners know what to expect, know where the enemies are, know where the items are, like this monster-in-a-box guarded floater Like, that's just insane. That's sick. Yeah, it looks like Velik's gonna take a few more of these rat cats. If they don't kill, which they killed him. Oops. But you just reset and you try again. I think I have lost Karant here. I'm sure we'll get him back in a second, but I'll chat until he comes back and save you guys from me. Canoe is over here on the Sky Spider floor, which I missed where that is, but we'll figure it out. Could be over at Provoca. Karant, you back with us?
Yeah, sorry about that. My computer decided to apparently seize up on everything, so let me see.
Yeah. So, we are in for a blisteringly fast seed. Don't know if you noticed what they found. Over on Sky Spider at, I believe, Provoca, or maybe it's Elfland. Color's a little weird. That's the Canoe. So, Floater and Canoe within a couple stops of each other. We're already in the air if you want to.
Yeah, that's definitely good to see if you're any of our runners, because, of course, this is floor and entrance shuffle, so the more, floors and entrances that you have access to, the better.
Yep. And that's also the thing about effectively loose items, is they do tend to like to group up early. So, yeah. That's just getting you in the air, like, that's economy right there.
Oh, yeah. Especially, and considering that, I think, if I'm remembering correctly, they had access to the spoiler log for 15 minutes, I believe?
Oh, no. They've had access to this seed for 5 weeks.
Oh, good lord. Okay, well, yeah, so they had a little bit of time to prepare.
A little bit of time. Yeah, just a little. Okay, so Sky 2 is at Titan's East. Thank you for that. Colors outside of the circles here are a little confusing to me, but that's a good one to know about. And a lot of people are killing these hot cats and rat cats, because, that is good eating.
Oh yeah, especially when you have a lit, a couple of lit knives to be able to fry them appropriately.
Yeah, it may say -1 on that dagger, but you don't care about what the dagger does. You just care about the spell it can cast.
Yeah,
Starting here.
You don't care how sharp it is. You care how lit it is.
It's lit. Just wave it in the air like a couple of glue sticks. So we got Sarda at the bottom of this Titan area. He had the ruby, wherever that Titan may be. Apparently, that ruby does matter. Also, you'll see over on Velik's side, we've got a Titan mech over here. Thunder mech, call it what you will. That's not a very scary mech, just because of the fact that it's using that pallet set to do something. It is a sky mech, so it's dangerous, but maybe it's not as dangerous as you might expect.
And also, apparently, not as lucrative as you might expect either.
No, he's not. He's an enemy. He's not a big boss. We got Lucky Fish destroying that beast, though.
Uh-oh. Yeah, apparently they are very lucky fish if they're doing those sorts of things.
Mm-hmm. Now, something else you will notice, deads do gain levels, and I believe nuns gain levels. So no matter whether your people are kissing dirt or standing up, they're gonna get that experience.
Of course, good, because if I remember correctly, after defeating fiends, you can trade out for some extra party members that you can put in those lovely nun slots or dead slots, and therefore they suddenly pop up and magically have whatever level they're supposed to.
If that concerns you, it is worth noting, I do believe we have a short Topher on, though, so you may not need a lot of party members.
That's true, yeah, that certainly helps.
Mm-hmm.
Also, good evening, everybody from SpeedGaming. Welcome to the Final Fantasy Randomizer Fall League semifinals, where we have spoiled it for everybody playing, and so now we just get to see and watch how they put the puzzle pieces together.
It is entirely about routing and skill right here, as we quickly trundle through this spoiler log seed here. I want to point out that Aelmarkin found where the Titan was down by the Cardia Isles, immediately turned in that ruby to get the crown. Now he's coming back over here to grind off a couple enemies, maybe to see if, I think, Astos might be down here at a deep northwest.
I will say oh dear, Jat got the wrong end of that encounter. Yipes.
I missed what it was, but it sounds scary.
It was a monster in a box after he had turned in the ruby, and it just promptly decked him.
Thou shalt not pass.
I will say one thing that I am... Okay, there you go. The red worms? I don't know what you'd call those worms, but apparently they hit.
Let's go with Riot. Riot worms.
Yeah, sure. Okay.
Yeah.
Speaking... Oh, man.
Adamant, okay.
I was going to say, speaking of Riot, Jat was... Well, he almost took those two down, but the second one got him just on the edge.
Final Fantasy giveth, Final Fantasy taketh away. So we did get the adamant there from the crown turn-in. Ale has sailed off. Ale is sail. That's a nice little rhyme right there. Looks like he's going to put himself in the air. I assume now he will also go and take care of that adamant turn-in wherever Dwarf Cave may be. You don't get the adamant in the spoiler seed if you don't intend to immediately go turn it in.
Right, exactly.
Brutes. That's our pirate sprite. Zombie brutes over here. Although I'm not sure they're actually zombie. I'm just going to assume.
Zoinks, brutes!
Zoink brutes. I like it. That's good. Let's go with that. Apparently wanted that $6,000. Kills the dwarf, and we're going to find out. The Mazamoon +3, I believe. So that was worth the turn-in.
I was going to say, especially since I couldn't quite tell what we picked up. I think we picked up a red wizard.
I think we did. They do seem to all be promoted, which saves if you don't want to have to promote your black belt right there. And now you have a full complement if you want to go buy some spells. Yep. Although, again, you got a lit 8 sword. How much more do you need?
Right, exactly.
Like, I mean, okay, in fairness, we haven't seen anyone check any of the spell shops, but when you know 5 weeks in advance what the spell shops are going to have, do you need to?
Right, exactly. Yeah, they have checked the spell shops for the last 35 days.
Yeah, they did it a while ago. We just weren't on stream for that.
Yeah, right. Well, that's okay. I mean, they don't have to share everything they do with us, just as long as they share the important parts.
Chat also does the adamant turn-in. Now looks like he's coming over to Elfland, so he can pick up some spells. We finally get to see what's at a spell shop, and he's buying Warp. Because of course he is.
Well, in a floor and entrance randomizer, that certainly has some value to it.
Warp and Exit are your 2 favorite spells to see, especially when you've already got, as we've noted, a lit 8 sword.
Yep.
So Ale is already taken on our lit spot, which is Carbuncle, because Ultimate Fiends are on. Kills them, lights the orb. 10 minutes in, we are already with our first orb lit on screen. So yeah, for those noting, Velik has basically been sitting here grinding the whole time. There is experience to be gotten from your key items, but it's not a big experience boost. So if you feel like the best thing for you to do is just grind and go, then you grind and go because you know where everything is.
Meanwhile, Elmarkin is flying around the world just taking care of everything seemingly at once.
Yep. Crabcake's right behind getting his carbuncle or her carbuncle as well. I was thinking ale for a second there. Wrong pronoun. I noticed he's gotten a ribbon, he's gotten I think he sold the Aegis. Picking up the Excalibur, or selling the Excalibur. They menu so fast, it's hard.
Yeah, I was gonna say, us trying to keep track of 4 people who have had a spoiler log forever. These folks menu fast already. Give them a whole bunch of advanced knowledge, and they're basically going to be going up about warp 10 or so.
Yep. So I was corrected. It's experience per orb, but still, you take what you can get. Life 8 is really nice because that's a full heal just like Life 2. Never have to worry about that one again. You got that, your red mage could learn it, you're good to go. And I love the fact that Ale has gone back to grind on those Hot and Rat Cat, while Crabcake is continuing to put on the Afterburner. They've gone into what was a Marsh split floor is now Sky 4. And we're going to find out where... Oh, double split floor. Good luck keeping up with this one if you don't have the spoiler log already.
Right. I think this led eventually to, I believe, I want to say... Okay, Elfland Castle to turn in that herb. All right.
Oh, And I didn't even notice that we had the herb, so we're turning that in.
Yep. And picking up a white mage.
Yeah, that was just does not even care what the herb has. That is not a key item we care about. Just wanted the white mage, or white wizard. They have a Thief Rainbow party that they're going to be rocking with that Moon. And that's all she wrote right there on that. Now picking up some Lock 1.
A quick 3 shirt. That's the power of Spellcaster.
Mm-hmm. That is pretty nice. You throw that on yourself, that's a self-cast fast. You're good to go on that one.
Oh boy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I have not had very much opportunity to experiment with a lot of the stuff like this, the Spellcrafter, or some of the more crazy flags that we're seeing here in the spoiler logs. So I might have to whip up a seed and play with them at some point.
Some interesting spells that are here at level 4. We had Fast 5, which is going to be basically your single cast fast. Necro 8, which is top level necromancy damage spell. Cure 5, which is kind of like a Cure 3. And then there was Invis 8, which is going to be full party Invis that I believe does... it's like Invis and a half, basically, I think is like how much it charges up for. So full party Invis and a half per cast. Got a Temper 6 here. That's going to be a double shot Temper, I believe. Single target, if I'm not mistaken. Gotta explain these spells because, wow, Spellcrafter is weird.
Yeah, I've noticed.
Yeah, I believe for Temper, only level 7 and 8 will be full party, so that Temper is just going to be single target. But a fairly powerful single target, if I remember. Being told Invis 8 is full group at plus 180 evade. That is not Invis and a half, that is Invis on overdrive right there. Almost entire party evade on a single cast.
Oh my gosh, the crazy old men, hello.
Yeah, they're wandering.
I was about to say, evade plus 180, that's basically pretty much good luck anything touching you.
Pretty much. And that's why you grab the White Wizard, that's why everyone's getting one.
Yep.
Note the sages over at Elf area. They are required. They have our loot. And
yeah,
I think... Oh, you were saying?
I was going to say, yeah, Chadwick mentioning old men forgetting to take their medicine. I was going to say they're running around like Walter Matthau in what is it, Angry Old Men?
Grumpy Old Men.
Grumpy Old Men, thank you, sorry.
Ale just killed Carrie. That's 2 on the floor for him. Crabcake's once again right behind, going in for her second. Gonna also take out this Carrie. Honestly, with the magic and the weapons that we have, this Carrie, which is Leviathan, although it looks like a Sphinx because Randomizer is on, not gonna last long.
No, not at all.
So if you're curious, the reason why the enemies or the bosses have different names is because we have alternate fiends on. The reason why their spells do not look anything like what you'd expect for, like, a Leviathan or a Carbuncle is because Randomizer is on and Randomizer changes up all the sprite positions for the Raw. So, yeah, it's just being weird. Ale on his way to take out Kraken. It really is this fast. 16 minutes in, we're gonna have our third fiend fight from Ale. Speedy Gonzalez right here.
The fastest mouse in all of whatever we call this world?
Whatever it is. Jack going and going to take out his Carbuncle at the Lich spot. Believe that will be his first item, or his first fiend kill. And Velik specifically went up into the hairpins to pick up something, although I missed what it was.
I'm afraid I didn't see it either.
We got Red Knights here on the Fire Elemental. Looks like an Invis 8 hammer, which, yeah, if you don't want to pick up the White Mage, that's fantastic. That's cracking down for Ale Markin. 3 on the floor for Ale. Well, whatever was that Kraken. I actually missed what the fight was. It was Kraken area.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The boss formerly known as Kraken.
Uh-huh. He's actually just a symbol now. He's pursuing a musical career.
So
And Ale, that looks like the same area where Kraken was at or nearby, and now Ale is already on his way to Tiamat. This is going to be 4 on the floor for him before the 20-minute mark even ticks by.
So chat was asking what TGL was, and I'm glad they asked because I had the same question, and we have our answer that it is a paralysis spell or earth elemental spell or something of that variety, or noodle spell.
If you are curious, I think that was a Saber 2 gauntlet that Crabcake's just picked up on this time. If you are ever curious, the various spells for Spellcrafter are documented on the resources section of the Final Fantasy Randomizer website. And while we have a moment, because Ale Market is fighting a war pony for the war mech, do want to remind you that if you like what you see here, are interested in playing it, if you don't even want to play at this speed, you want to play a little slower, you can by going to FinalFantasyRandomizer.com. They'll get their Ruby. They are a little behind right now, but they spent some time grinding, and that may work out for them in the end.
Yeah, it very well could. We'll see accordingly. So, if this is a war pony, does this mean this would be at least the most well-known war horse that I can think of? Would this be Bucephalus then?
I do not know that reference. I'm just thinking it's a paladin's war horse, but small, for like a small paladin, like an imp or a dwarf.
Oh, Bucephalus was Alexander the Great's horse.
Ah, thank you. Yeah, my Hellenistic period history is not that great.
Well, I mean, I am the history teacher, so I dang well better know it.
That's good. Want to note that over with the Sages, the White Magic store there had Wall 8, which, yes, that's a level 8. That means that is full party wall right there. Ale's taken out the War Pony. I am sorry to Alexander the Great for having killed his horse right there, but we'll get to kill it 3 more times at least before this is over. And now we're fighting a troll in the form of Asura.
Well, can we do the life glit or get it life locked?
I mean, we might be able to. The unfortunate thing is her spells are going to be mixed up with all the other spells that are in the pool, because that's what happens when you play Final Fantasy Randomizer. You can play the Fiends normally, use them with their quote-unquote vanilla spells, and she does in fact have a lot of curative spells in her spell pool by default.
Oh, well, go figure.
Also want to point out, that means that Chaos, or whatever Chaos could be here, may very well have a bunch of Cure 3s and Cure 4s in their pool.
Oh, that would be not pleasant at all, at least for them.
Oh, Spellcrafter's on! I don't even know what the Fiends are going to cast.
It's a mystery even to us!
It's a mystery! So that's 4 on the floor for Ale. He is now diving down here, I'm going to guess, unless he wanted items that Crabcakes was getting before, which actually I think that's what he's doing. He's coming here, because he's hitting something that Crabcakes just did. Probably getting his loot, gonna get his spells, maybe pick up some of these gold bracelets, giving Crabcakes a chance to catch up and fight the salamander that's in the water dungeon. That's a little ironic. It's a steam element.
Well, I was gonna say there's a little bit of the twist in the tale.
But we'll note that if you have played at least have played Advanced Dungeons and Dragons 2, if not beyond that, the monster manual there did have steam elementals. That is a real thing. That's going to put Salamander dead for Jat, I do believe. So that is at least 3. Oh, that's 3 on the floor for Jat now as well. Crabcakes takes out their Salamander. That's 3 there for her. And Ale is taking on Garland, because we hadn't seen him yet, and it's still got to kill him.
And Garland went down in a heap of bones in about 5 seconds flat.
That was our guaranteed Masamune here, so that's 2 Masamunes in the pool. That's disgusting.
I mean, sure, if you're watching it, I figure the runners are like, oh, okay, that's cool.
Salamander comes out with an Ice 4, not scary in the slightest. 2 fast are going to buff up our Masamune swingers. And then I think we're going to lit 8 swords, but Salamander doesn't even have to worry about that. Salamander is down. Only 2 fiends you gotta face on each side. Ale is now getting ready to take on the next. Put the ribbon on the life caster just in case, because I'm expecting that whatever fiend is here is gonna be nasty. It is a Leviathan, and let's see what they have. Ah, that explains it. Crack, and cracked through a ribbon, no less. Bear that in mind.
Oh boy, yeah, that's joy and rapture, I'm sure.
Oh yeah. Whoa, makes it through. That's all that matters. And thankfully, he's got life 6, and that basically brings him right back up.
Life 6 at level 1, so even better, you got all the spellcasts for it.
Yep, yeah, no, that brings his party all the way up, and you're not mistaken seeing enemy encounters here on the Chaos floor. That is yet another bonus that we have here in the randomizer. You can take fights in front of Chaos.
So pretty much just like the Pixel remaster, then.
Pretty much. And it's Chaos sitting here at the Chaos spot. Ale the first at 23 minutes, 36 seconds to take on Chaos. Invis is 8 up, gets his party basically up to full, already swinging for 159 damage. Swirl does not care about your Invis, though. Alt 8 does not halt Chaos, ineffective on this first turn. Gains ineffective from Chaos. Chaos is just not doing anything right now. It's impressive. Halt 8 ineffective again. Got our Fast 5 coming out for that thief. Black Belt swinging for 252 damage. Swinging a hit for 217. Swinging a hit for 502. Another Halt 8 comes out. A Tau paralyzed. Oh, that is gonna be a spicy. Because now a lot of his, I believe, evade is counteracted, and this Chaos could be getting hit pretty darn hard right there. 78 damage from the lit 8, 3 hits for 330, 9 hits for 933. That is a done stamp right there from Ale Markin. GG's to Ale at the 24-minute mark. It really is just that fast.
Yep. The official time, 24 minutes, 36 seconds. So, well, all I can say is, congratulations, Ale. You are officially Sonic the Hedgehog tonight.
GG's. Sub 25. Now, we do have Jat and Crabcakes that are both taking on Ashura, and while I'd like to bring Ale in right now, we'll bring him in soon. But considering how fast that went, I have a feeling we're going to be just half the top right over him once again.
Yeah. I have a feeling these interviews are probably going to be, okay, well, let's talk for about 30 seconds, then we've got another Chaos fight.
Yeah, I think we're just going to hold off and invite Ale and all the rest of them in once we're done here, because it gonna be...
Yep.
So Jat is taking on Garland right now. Crabcake is right behind. Garland is not a challenge to Jat. Jat comes down. Jat also goes over for that Monster Moon +3 because, of course, he does. Why wouldn't you?
To assert dominance over a seed?
Moves Quick Shirt up, comes in, goes to Salamander. Apparently, this is the kind side right here. Ice 4 once again from Salamander is not scary in the slightest. Get those wall 8s out. The Ice 4 is going to do even less damage than it was before. Quick Invis. This party is now basically untouchable, and Jet's just going to swing. And brings out Holy 8.
So, worth noting, I think Crabcakes did skip that other Masa.
Oh, yeah. Well, I think her party is built on the practice of just worrying about the thief and not going. Everyone else seems to have a Black Belt thief, but she went with just the rainbow.
Right.
Salamander is down for Jat. Crabcake, interestingly, is taking on Ashura instead. She felt like this side was safer. Maybe the crack on the other side was not something she wanted to deal with.
And, I mean, that's understandable, considering that it just about knocked Ale Markin's party for a loop.
Yeah, it did. It did go through that ribbon. I don't know what the likelihood is with the level 8 spell. Crack coming out on this side as well. For Leviathan, not a concern. Ashura's already down. Carbuncle's next for Crabcakes. It's really interesting trying to commentate both these at once, but apparently Carbuncle was not an issue at all because Crabcakes is already through ahead of Jet, who came into this dungeon first by a good 15 seconds. Chaos, Crabcakes taking on Chaos, Jet healing up, getting ready to do their turn. Focus on Crabcakes right now. Temper 6 comes out. Quick 3's coming out for the Thief. Swirl almost knocks a mage on their butt, but the rest of them don't seem to care. And Viz 8 coming out, full party defend, more tempering, more defense, more buffing, more of everything you want in this siege. Gonna do some curatives, gonna do some luck. Cure 5 brings Thief pretty much back up to full, more tempering. Chaos cannot swing against the enemy heroes against them because, yeah, they're fully defended. Lock 1 comes out just to slow Chaos down, just a little. More locking. More tempering. Thief swings for 500 against Chaos. Doing some decent damage right now. Gonna see if we can get that just a little further. Gonna take a little more damage than that to get through on this point. Chaos still trying to swing. Chaos not going to be able to do much of anything against that. Thief comes out for 1,200 damage. Crabcake kills that Chaos. Second on the board. Jet right behind, almost immediately, also takes out that Chaos. That is 2 second places right there. Technically a second place from Crabcakes in the room, third place from Jet, but they're both going to end up in our bucket 2 for points. 28-42 for Crabcakes, 28-49 for Jet. And I think we finally have a chance to do some invites and bring our runners into the room.
And sure enough, we are joined in chat by Ale Markin, and it looks like Jat is just waiting in the wings. So GG, Ale.
Hey, thanks, Grant. It was a fun little race tonight.
That was a fast little race tonight, for sure.
Yeah, I mean, it's a really weird feeling when you know you're on a 10-minute delay and you're halfway done your run by the time the delay actually starts. It's like, oh man, this is crazy.
Yeah, I think you must have had a fundamentally different strat than us, Ale. Like my PB on this with not perfect, but like with slightly better RNG was about 26 minutes. So I wasn't catching you even if I got a little bit luckier.
Yeah, I was hitting a lot of 26s and 27s in practice because I would get caught by RNG in a couple different spots. But I think everything went about as well as it could tonight with the run. So
I noticed that you didn't have wall 8 and stuff.
No, so in practice I found that I caught myself doing the thing. So because of where the white mage landed, down there in the Melwyn location, I caught myself doing a lot of grinding on Sky 3 to hit 18 to pick open the elf armory to get the ribbon.
Yeah.
And I figured, you know what, if I can just cut out the white mage and cut out that ribbon, I would save a lot of time, because even doing that, I was thinking I was hitting mid-30s, low 40s.
Okay.
So I was like, let me just try and not get the white mage, because she's really out of the way.
Yeah.
And we already get one on the route next to the floater, so let's just see if we can make this work.
Oh, wow. We tried that, but we got absolutely destroyed in tow for 2 consistently, so that's why we skipped that. But I saw your run in it, other than almost getting cracked to death and then punched and killed.
Yeah, I was not gonna lie. Things were clenched during Leviathan 2 because I hadn't seen that come out from her.
You've never seen crack?
And I've seen it, but it hasn't hit 3 out of 4.
Oh,
usually
oh wow, okay.
Yeah, usually somebody alongside the ribbon wearer will dodge it, and it wasn't the case tonight. So I was like, oh man, I'm down to 1. Let's just see if we can lit 8 through this, because otherwise we're in trouble. Because I had a feeling like you and Crabcakes and Velk were right behind me.
That crack was the exact reason why we went white mage, why we got wall 8, because we were going 3 for 4 down basically every single time, and we are keeping our Massa Wilder alive or the ribbon one. So that checks out though. But whew,
worth noting that Crabcakes didn't even bother with it. Crabcakes went the Ashura route instead.
Oh yeah, she went right. I didn't consider it.
Yeah, I was really keen on going left, because in practice, perfect turn order, Salamander 2, if your red and black mage go off first with their fast, they die in 1 round. Maybe
Yeah.
2, depending on the rolls. And then with Leviathan 2, you can just fight and then lit 8. And if you roll good and get good turn order, she's dead in 1 round.
Yeah, because
so I'm like, I'd rather take like the 2/1 round than whatever the right side has.
Yeah. No, that makes sense.
So
Yeah.
one question I have, well, actually, hold on. Before I get into that, let's take care of Bellic with his Chaos fight, because, I mean, they're already there as well. It's fast speed today. Black Belt swinging for 159. Quick 3 comes out for that thief. Black Mage is no more. Black Mage is Wall 8 comes out to protect everyone. Doesn't matter for that Black Mage, though. Swing from the sword, 138. Holy 8 comes out for 123. Black Belt is now no more. Swing for the sword, 235. Holy 8 comes out again. Holy 8 doing 193 and a swing for 506. Swirl actually seems to be safer than whatever's going on with the punching, because the punching is scary. Swing for 441, that's kind of more the damage that you want to see with this. Mage takes the hit for 270, still standing, 7 hits, 608 from the Thief. Mage does her job and keeps the hits off the Thief. 488 swipe from the sword, another swipe coming out. 516, Chaos misses the Thief, good to see right there. Gonna swipe again, 431, that is the last for that Thief, and Chaos is dead. GG's to Bellic, 3rd place in the buckets, 4th place in the room, 33 minutes, 41 seconds. Hopefully we'll see them soon.
And yet, Bellic is waiting in the wings, so we should be able to speak with them in just a second. Since Darkmoon's done all the talking so far, I wanted to say GG to all of y'all, and GG's to Bellic, who just stepped into the room. So congratulations, everybody.
Thank you very much.
So I'm sorry. You go ahead.
I was going to say, so you're getting ready for a race that ends up lasting about 30 minutes. What all, since I've known about these flags for all of about 2 hours, what all goes into the preparation as far as how much work do you put into something like that?
Well, I'm not gonna lie. Dead Pulse actually did most of the routing on our seed, but then I've been practicing for probably the last 3 days or so, and putting, I don't know, 4 or 5 hours just running it over and over, like about an hour to get the route down, and then just making sure that you know that how to deal. Like, I don't know if other people did this, but like my black belt went down in Titans East, and that was actually an exact scenario I'd practiced for, so I knew kind of how to deal with that and like when to bring it back up and when it was needed or not, because in most of my runs the black belt dies somewhere between the Titans Trove East location and before my white mate and getting to the double what is it, the ruby location, the ruby turn-in spot where those 2 very scary wyvern type things are.
Yeah, for me, looking at it, the spoiler week seeds are very much like playing the game of Limbo. It's like, how low can you go? Like, how much can you cut out and still get through the seed in a reasonable amount of time? And I don't think I started even looking at the seed until after this last Saturday's races were confirmed, because we were kind of like on the fence of, are we going to be in? Are we not going to be in? Because I'm sorry, I'm a little strapped for time at the moment with like midterms and stuff. So it's like I can't sit there and dedicate.
Me too.
Yeah, so it's like I can't sit there and dedicate like learning a spoiler seed if we're not going to be racing it. But there was definitely like a blitzkrieg of practices and like team conversations, like what should I cut out, what can I cut out, how should I trim this down. In like the past like 5 days leading up to this, like this past weekend, I think between timed runs and just practice runs, like practicing like the opening route and everything, I think I've probably run this like 20 to 30 times.
Yeah, I'm about 15. Yeah,
and like you were saying, Jat, like there's a number of times in this run where you can just kind of get like absolutely wrecked. Like with the route I take, I skip the white mage because I'm apparently the only one who decided to do that. But it's very much like a roll of the dice. Like I decided to hit Titans East first, and the big dangerous spot is that long Bahamut hallway because there's sharks in there.
Yep.
And first turn they have stun 6, which hits you no matter where you are.
Yep.
And then their next turn, if they cast a spell, it's Holy 8. So with only 2 people, you're pretty much boned if they hit you.
Yep.
So I got really lucky on them both in and out.
If my black belt survived the Wizard or whatever the Dark Knights, I was about 60% to get out. I don't know what you were in your practices, Ale, but
I wasn't good because after the sharks, dealing with those worms in the crown box really felt like a 25% thing if I only had one person up.
Oh, you did it on the way out. Interesting.
Yeah, because it's right there next to the Cardia double bottom where the floater is at. So instead of like walking down to Marsh and walking back up, I figured I'll just do it all right here. And I did a lot of practice with like hard and soft resetting on the overworld. So like if you watch back the run, I hard reset right next to like the cape where the point of like the Marsh Cave entrance is on the ship. And that way I don't hit any encounters, even with doing like the ribbon, the floater floor first. So normally what you can do is you can like hard reset right next to like the top double Cardia. And you can burn like 9 or 10 steps, and you walk in, you still get 2 encounters going down to the box and on the way out. Or maybe it's 1, whatever. But I found if you reset earlier, you can skip all that. But then, like, even with a ribbon, that TGL 3, I felt like it hit me like 80% of the time, even through a ribbon. So it's very much of a, okay, do I get turn order, and does this thing hit me through a ribbon? And if either one of those is, well, if turn order's no and hit me through a ribbon is yes, it's pretty much a reset.
It's funny you guys are having this conversation just in general about all these terrible things, because like I definitely didn't experience it, and it obviously didn't work out for me, but I saw all these things early on in the C2 and it was like, man, it's just so hard. It's just up in the air. Like, can I get out, and can I get in and out with the canoe? Can I get in and out even with the ruby? Then beyond that, can I get the crown, early on without dying and having to reset and lose time that way? And that's why I decided to just start the seed with an immediate grind on those cats with the lit 8 swords and just get me up to where literally everything I did was super safe. Never had a wipe, and I realize now that was probably my issue and why the times ended up the way they were, just because I was taking so much time to essentially protect my run, and so I never had a wipe or anything like that, and I had exit to get out of places quickly, so I never was running into less fights overall that could have these dangerous things. But I don't know, it's interesting that I guess it's probably down to my just inexperience, still being relatively new to the community, just not being willing to sort of take those risks and instead play it safer, and you end up losing time in a lot of cases. So if RNGesus was unkind to you guys, then maybe I could have had a shot, but it looks like banging your head against the wall was the correct play.
So yeah, for reference, my range, Velik, was about 25, like high 25s to about 31 was like my worst practice. Once I got the route down real good with like terrible RNG. That involves like 2 wipes in Titan's Trove East, 2 wipes to the dragons and where the ruby turn in. That was kind of like the worst case scenario. And once you get out of Titan's Trove East on the first try, it's like a 25, 30 to like 27, 28 range, which is kind of where I landed.
See that. It's interesting because most of my runs were very, very safe, and they were all within like the 33 to 36 time frame. And I was never deviating. Obviously, not faster than that, which was a problem. But I was never slower either, because it was always just pretty much guaranteed when I'm running into these places with my levels and what I had.
That makes sense.
So
I will also, when we were talking in chat, I've never wiped on Kraken before, like I did in this race. I don't think it would have made a difference because CC and I still would have been in the same bucket, but we would have. That was what.
I feel you there.
Did you also wipe on Kraken, like Kraken 1?
So in my practices, right? So the big roadblocks were the sharks on the Bahamut floor.
Yep.
The worms on the crown box.
Yep.
And then a combination of Kraken and Warmech were like really the 4 big stumbling blocks in this run because of Kraken. So I ended up swapping over my ribbon over to the Black Mage because I went in and routed in Halt 8. But in my practices before I did that, I would put on the ribbon on the Red Mage and just hope for the best. And 9 out of 10 times she would throw out Mute 4 on the first round. It would hit everybody but the Red Mage. So at that point, my Black Belt's useless because he can't hit for anything at like level 14. And the Black Mage is beyond useless because he can punch for 2 damage or he can wait. So it's like, at that point, it's like a 2v1 kind of scenario. And then it's basically the same thing with Warmech, except add in some evasion. So between the 2 of those, it's very much an RNG fest. And, watching this run back, like I was talking earlier, I'm like, I got very lucky with RNG on this run. Things kind of landed perfectly in the sense of like that Kraken and Mech fight went about as well as could be expected, all things considered.
It still sounds like your base strategy though was like your median time was probably about a minute and a half faster than like Crabcake and mine. Darkmoon, did Crabcakes get bad RNG, or did her run go pretty much according to like did she wipe?
No wiping. It looks like or no wiping that wasn't like intended or like within like a quick fight of within whatever floor she went into. I think what slowed her down was quote unquote slowed her down. She was only a couple minutes behind like Ale, and right up there with you. Going for that, going for that white mage and just doing the spellbind for that. That white mage did feel essential for both of you, especially because there was only one ribbon if you didn't go out of the way. And didn't want to go out of the way for like the Invis hammer that was in like volcano hairpin turns and other things like that. Yeah, it seemed like the white mage, by her calculation, was fast.
Yeah, like I was saying earlier, like I prioritized white mage in early practices, and then I was like, let me see what I can get away with, because it's like I said, it's spoiler week feels all about trimming the fat, and like having to go through like the Marsh split, the Sky 4, the Seed split, to Elf Castle just for the white mage, and have to get out with that. And like those S golems have thunder, and then you get caught by all the other nonsense in there. And it's like, this is so stupid. Like, why am I getting this white mage just for like wall 8? Like, maybe I can pray to the RNG gods and not deal with it.
I think ultimately it looks like that was the right strategy. I think in initial testing we were just getting blown out of tow for a little bit too much, maybe just slightly non-optimal strategies, slightly overestimating the strength of like just speed empowering the refight. Anyways, GG's. I don't have much else to say, but it was a good race, and I think it seems like it ended up more or less like, it doesn't sound like RNG played a massive role in this. Maybe Crabcakes and I could have switched by when you're 4 seconds apart. We're pretty close, but it sounds like this was pretty solid run.
Yeah, it was a fun run overall. I mean, I've seen and read and watched the horror stories that are like Friday and Saturday seeds, so I'm kind of lucky in the sense that I was like kind of the dedicated Thursday runner. I was like, oh man, look, I get this like sweet lit 8 sword, and look, we don't have to enter like half the dungeon in this seed, and our deepest dungeon's like 4 floors. Like, oh no, that's in and out. Like, oh heavens, like thanks RNG. Like, I'm okay with this.
Yeah, I did want to ask you guys how you felt about that clearance priced lit 8 dagger when you got a lit 3 sword that was apparently worth more than that, all of those combined.
I mean, so I was kind of laughing because in when I first loaded up the seed on Saturday this past week, the last thing I expected was to see any kind of castable item in a shop, let alone the second entrance you enter. Well, at least the second entrance I entered. So I was kind of like beyond myself. I was like, this is going to be a jet seed, because Spellcrafter, when you hit like those tier 8 spells, it's already kind of wonky. Like AoE and Viz 8's kind of nuts, and AoE and Wall 8's even more amazing. Like the high level tempers and fast are great, but like then you have this lit spell that can like roll like 700 or 800 damage on things that are weak to it. It's like, okay, well, if you're just gonna give this to me for $9,000 and I can cast it, basically forever with not worrying about charges, I guess I'll take it.
All right, well, I guess congratulations to everybody. Looks like we are all out of questions and things to say. So
yeah.
I will note, though, the conversation between all of y'all, well, me subbing in a little bit, but the conversation between all of y'all lasted about as long as the run did.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, the commentators were, or the trackers were noting that they spent more time getting their notes together for today's race than the race itself took.
I mean, that's just dedication to our trackers. I appreciate you guys spending more time on the seed than we did.
Well, you spent hours and hours on it that we didn't see. This is just the culmination.
That's
yeah.
Yeah, and like a note for like what we've been chatting about this in our group a little bit. Like, this one was cool because it was decided by, I believe the strategies more or less played out in order from like if you take their min max, their RNG range, and like the median times and like the average times of them, it seems like it more or less came out the way that you would expect. But these races, because there's so much time to prep, it really can be RNG heavy, and I think we're going to see that a little bit Friday, Saturday. So, yeah, it's an interesting experiment, but it could definitely be frustrating, and we'll see what Saturday looks like.
So what do you guys think? Like, if we do spoiler again, do we just leave the seeds up to random, or do we have an impartial team curate a set of them to try and take out a little of the RNG of it?
I think just spoiler, like co-piloting adds enough of that like skill element, like getting the spoiler seed like 5 minutes before the race starts or something like that would like make the routing and stuff so much more on the fly.
I would definitely be in favor of something like that, trying it out. Like, this was fun. It was definitely interesting, and I've never done anything like it before. But certainly, like, if it was 2 hours or 5 minutes or something, just like right before the race happens, so that you have maybe a little bit of time to figure out a pathing, and then just kind of like go for it instead. I think that would turn into, you'd probably see more variance in the strategies, because like this seed, for example,
exactly.
It sounds like everyone went for the lit 8 swords, right? Because why wouldn't you?
Right.
But, you know, if you maybe had the spoiler log in like 15 minutes, maybe you don't find lit 8 swords, and then the one team does or something, and so you're back into having sort of like an actual race, but it's still a little bit spoiled, and so I don't know. I think it might make for some interesting interactions and races doing it that way.
I think something between like doing the co-pilot scenario that was kind of tossed about in the Discord, and doing something like Velik just said, where it's like, hey, here's the seed an hour beforehand, figure it out. That's all the time you get.
Yeah,
I think that'd be interesting because, like, you know, technically you've had over a month to practice these seeds. It was just really up to how did your team do with regards to spoiler week, whether you can actually run them or not. But it feels like the more time you give it, it really kind of favors those people who have the time to spend dedicated to like running the seed.
Yeah.
So if you just say, like, if you even that playing field and say, here, you either get an hour or 5 minutes or 10 minutes, or you get a buddy who can tell you, hey, here's what your key chain or your key item chains are. Like, that would be really interesting to see how it plays out in the future if we do like more spoiler week stuff.
Yeah. My other point is just like the seed had a little, like the boss scaling was slightly high. All the random elements of it made it more random. Like if you were playing something closer to like if you wanted to race like more vanilla E, then I think that would also reduce some of the RNG factors, but at the same time that would also in my opinion would too heavily incentivize people who just have tons of time to dump into something that's relatively RNG-less. So yeah, I'm very much of the opinion that like co-piloting or spoiler log, like, you know, even if it's not even co-piloting for scheduling reasons, but like that person can spend the time playing, or you can spend the time reading the spoiler log in the middle of the seed. Like that just at least reduces the amount of like homework essentially you have to do. Anyways, yeah.
All right. Well, it was fun watching you guys. This is entertaining at the very least, seeing you guys fly through this game like this.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun too. Like I'm a big fan of like puzzling things out and like trying to figure out like what you can trim. Like that was really like exciting for me. It's like, okay, well, we can get this white mage, but what if we don't? And that was really fun to try out. Like it's kind of like you were saying earlier, Darwin. Like we haven't done a lot of spoiler week stuff. Like historically, it's been a lot of like, okay, the seed gets rolled 10 minutes beforehand. You see it when the gate drops, and good luck. And you know, with the spoiler week stuff, it definitely puts like a different kind of twist on things. It's like, you know, you can spend a couple hours fully routing out your seed, then it's like, okay, well, what do I need to avoid? What can I avoid? What can I cut out? What can I skip? What can I gamble on? And that's really what it boils down to, it feels like.
It's a different skill set.
Yeah, definitely. I think it would also kind of be fun if maybe there were like, you know, a challenge lead or something came up with a spoiler week seed where people just repeatedly kept posting their times and other people kept trying to come in and swoop in and beat it somehow, right? Because like racing this was fun, don't get me wrong. I was super like both excited to see what other people were doing and kind of anxious about it too. But it would also be fun to be like, well, you beat me by 30 seconds, so I guess I got to get back in there, try something else, and see if I can beat you back, right?
Yeah, we were doing that in our team, right? Like I would run it and I would talk and say, hey, what do you think about this time, and blah blah blah. And that was actually the funnest part. Like the race was just honestly kind of stressful because it was mostly like praying the entire time, like don't get screwed by RNG, don't press reset, haven't saved for 5 minutes, don't get screwed by RNG, don't. So. Also, that was rude. whoever turned off in saving, like, just so rude. Every FFR instinct. Oh god.
Right? How many times my finger hovered over that hard reset button?
Why? Anyways.
All right, guys, let's do final thoughts here, and we'll start with the winner of this very, very fast seed, Ale Market. Final thought.
I mean, I was a big fan of Spoiler Week, just because it's something different, and that's what kind of draws me into a lot of like the tournaments and league stuff that we do. It's like, you can only run certain flag sets so many times before you become like numb to it.
Yeah.
And then with Spoiler Week, it's all on you. Like, sure, you can route it like twice or 3 times, say I'm good, and then you can kind of like go really difficult or really hard at it and be like, okay, look, I'm gonna run this until my eyes bleed, and I'm gonna figure out how I can trim 2 seconds because I'm up against some really stiff competition. And that's kind of how I felt. I'm like, I got Jat, I got Velik, I got CC. Like, I expect them to finish like sub 25, sub 30 minutes. So this 48-minute finish isn't gonna cut it. So it really kind of puts the pressure on somebody to sit there and be like, okay, what can I cut out? What kind of risk am I open to taking to trim some time? What can I get away with, and where do I want to gamble in these seeds? And I think it's a lot of fun. So even if people don't necessarily run this seed, I think it's really interesting to see if we in the future get like a group spoiler week or race thing going together where everyone has a set amount of time to do things and see how it pans out for everybody.
Could be fun. We'll see what we do. And I'm sure this whole format's going to evolve as we do this in future events, too. So, Jet, final thought.
Yeah, not much that hasn't already been said. It was an interesting, exercise. I definitely did have fun. For me, the, Dead Pulse kind of came up with the route, so I actually really enjoyed just grinding it. The puzzling aspect and things like that, I was a little, it was an interesting challenge, but I am really looking forward to the various innovations and things like that. And overall, Fall League's still been lots of fun. The best part of Fall League for me is always just playing with the team, and I think Spoiler Week did bring out the best in that because it did allow for people to kind of communicate and chat. The problem is that when there's 4 Spoiler Weeks, everyone kind of had to focus on their own, and I'm sure all your guys' teams had that to some extent as well. If there was 2 or something instead, then maybe a little bit more collaboration could have happened. Yeah, that's pretty much it for me though. Velik, you want to go up last?
Yeah, sure. I would definitely agree with both of you guys. I love the fact that this was so much different than what we're used to with the normal randomizer races, just because it forced you to think differently and work at a problem. Instead of just practicing a flag set, it was the same thing and then working at it to trim the parts and really question every move that you make, as opposed to with the normal randomizer when you're making those sort of on the fly decisions. And so it is a different skill set and a different feeling. And that's why I really liked a lot of the seeds from this tournament as a whole. Like Deep Dungeon as well, just because Deep Dungeon is basically a completely different game mode from the normal randomizer, right? And I'm not just saying I enjoy it because I won my week, but no, it's super fun. I just love the opportunity to try all these different game modes. And seriously, huge shout out to the devs for just giving us such an amazing just system in general of all these different ways that we can play this game and all the different options and things. And so serious. I had a lot of fun with the Spoiler Week, and I would love to do more of it at some point. Also, as my last side note as well, Chaos can screw off for back rowing my Black Mage immediately in my fight, because I was worried I was already last, and then I was going to have to redo Temple of Fiends Revisited. I was very upset, but anyway, GG's everyone. That was great.
Yeah, GG's just a lot of fun, so.
Yeah, I do love that our randomizer has so many features to it, and so many ways we can do it. It is, I've said this before, and I will continue beating this drum about it. It's probably one of the most diverse set of features you're going to find in any randomizer, and the fact that we can have a Fall League the way we do, where we basically have 6 different game modes in 6 weeks, just speaks to how much work the devs have put in and have made Final Fantasy Randomizer the randomizer that it is. And with that, I am going to pass it off to Karant to take us home.
Alrighty, well, thank you all for joining us tonight on SpeedGaming 5 for tonight's Final Fantasy Randomizer Fall League semifinal spoiler week. Thank you to Ale and Jat and Velik and Crab Cakes for doing some great running for us, and very rapid running, I might add. Thank you to Wildham and Hate for helping us try to keep track of what the heck was going on, especially for all those great notes that we probably didn't have much time to look at because everything was going so dang fast. And of course, thank you to SpeedGaming 5 for letting us steal their channel for a little bit. We're about to give it back to them. But we appreciate you all being here tonight. Thank y'all for joining us. Tune in to the races that are going to be going on tomorrow and Saturday. And y'all have a good night.